into the salon. Welcome. If you're new here, I am Jamila Evans and I am a curl educator. And today I just want to talk about scissors. I want to talk about what we call in the hair industry shears and the real fear that goes around the fact that women, black women in particular, because that's what I'm servicing mainly, but black women are afraid of scissors because of the hair horror stories that they have experienced, because of what they consider to be scissor happy stylists, and because they really, which is the core of it all, are not properly educated on why they should cut their hair, what needs to be cut off of their hair, and then that transparency and consent. Okay, so let's back up. If you are new here, I have been licensed for the past 10 years as a cosmetologist and working specifically with curly hair pretty much my whole career. I have serviced at this point over 1,000 curly haired women and also women of other demographics or other curl types, hair types, but mainly over the last, for sure, 7 years, just straight curly hair. And time again, I have women like not wanting to cut their hair. Hey, how's it going? Not wanting to cut their hair. And I'm like, if you don't cut your hair, it's going to cut itself. So you can either be in control of your cut and get to a healthier state of hair, or you can stay in the space that you're at. You could kind of stay in this plateau, and you actually can regress if you do not cut your hair today. I'm a no nonsense person now when it comes to haircuts. When you sit in my chair, you have one appointment to not cut how much hair that needs to be cut off, okay? And when I say that, what that means is, so say a new person comes in, say, and I have to say a new person because normally my clients who have been coming to me for a while, they are like, Mila, do your thing. So your new person who comes in, you have not had a trim in 6 months to a year, sometimes even longer, okay? So say your hair is about here, okay? Let's say some hairs get to about here, not your hair, just some hairs. Because at this point, you have breakage. So you may have, if I press or blow dry your hair out, you may have hair that comes down here, but you might find that the line of health is up here, okay? Where the hair is nice and thick, okay? And I have a white cape, so some people do the white paper test, some people do the white towel test, but my cape is white, okay? So, you know, we got strands that are down here that touch at the bottom of the head, but then the thickness of the hair and the health of the hair lives here. And I have to have a conversation about this portion of the hair, okay? You should be having a conversation being had with you when you sit in a chair. And if the conversation is not being had, that is where the strain of the relationship between the stylist and the client happens. That is where the scissor happy stylist mentality comes from, and that is where the hair horror stories start to reside. If your hair needs 6 to 5 inches cut off and you don't want to cut that off, a stylist needs to tell you what will happen if you don't cut that off, what happens if you only cut off half, what happens if you keep on prolonging getting haircuts, okay? Because if you only decide to cut off half of that hair today, you still have unhealthy hair here in this area. You still haven't gotten to the full health part. So what you may find is that unhealthy hair will travel up, okay? Because we didn't cut these hairs up and through here that are still splitting and still being unhealthy, okay? So you have one time in my chair for me to show you what's going on with your hair, for you to start to feel comfortable with me, and for you to really trust my professional advice. And if we only cut off a portion of that hair in the first appointment, I will let you know that the next time I see you, you need to cut off more. Or if you don't cut off more, the next time I see you, you'll need more cut off, okay? And so that conversation and that consent, I have clients who are okay with cutting it all off. Mila, go ahead and cut it off. I want my hair healthy today. Oh no, Mila, that might be a little bit too much hair today. Let's just do half. So I will literally usually show them in the front part of their hair, because I cut hair wet, because I'm cutting afros, the afro portion of, or excuse me, one moment. Let me make sure my client is here. My client's running behind, so I gotta check to see when she comes up. I don't wanna for her to walk in on the live. So when I'm cutting afros, I use the top part of the head to make the shape of the cut, okay? And I cut hair wet. If the top of your hair is shorter, you cannot have long sides, because then you start to get the George Jefferson effect. That's what I call it. All right. So I will take this portion of hair, I will hold it up, okay? And once I hold it up, I also have white or gray walls, so you can see through the health of the hair. At the very root, you will see very, very thick hair, almost a thick forest where you cannot see through the hair. And then you'll see over time, and let me see if I can show y'all with my hair. My hair is pretty blunt. But over time, you will see, okay, I want people's hair to be as thick at the base as it is at the ends, okay? And I am due a trim, but I still have fairly thick hair. So I will see people's hair start to do a cone situation, okay? Where the hair is really, really thick down here. And you can kind of see, like, right about here, my hair gets a little thinner here, okay? Usually, when it's someone who needs a really good trim, it is thick, and then it is see-through right here, okay? I cannot see my hand, right? There are people who I start seeing my hand through their hair right here or further down. And if you need, again, if I show you this way, if you need this much hair cut off, and you're only willing to cut my fingertips off, you still have all of this damaged hair that lives with you. And so I just want to encourage you all today to listen to your stylist. Make sure you do your research with your stylist. Go for a consultation to get a feel of the vibe. Look at their work. Make sure it is their work, because some people do share work that is not their own. And then ask questions if you are not comfortable or if you don't know the benefits of cutting the hair. Some stylists are not going to go through all of the scenarios. Some stylists are not going to say, hey, this is the bare minimum you need to cut off. Okay, if you don't cut more off than this, we might as well not cut your hair today. Oh, if we cut about half, you need to come back in a month and get the rest of it cut off. Oh, like, some people are not going to go through that. So you need to make sure that you are clear why you should cut it. If you don't cut it, what will happen, and the benefits of cutting it all in one go. You may not want to have shorter hair, but if you do not, and I'm gonna say it one more time, if you do not cut your hair, it will cut itself, okay? So I'm gonna leave y'all with that today. I want to encourage you to get a trim at least once a season, okay? If you do a thorough trim once a season, usually you can go about 2 to 3 months. And when I say a thorough trim, I mean into the thickest portion of the hair. I'm not talking about a little dusting. I'm not talking about an inch. I'm talking about maybe 1.5 to 2 inches if that's what you need, okay? Cutting off what needs to be gone. Your hair should be blunt from root to tip, or your hair should be thick and blunt on the ends from root to tip, thick through to the ends. If you're twisting your hair and your twists start to taper off or get really stringy at the end, that is a sign that you need a trim. If you are getting fairy knots, popping, single strand knots, if you're getting any type of friction when you're gliding, hi, how are y'all doing? Those are all signs that you need a trim. If it's getting harder to detangle your hair, okay? Pay attention to your hair. Your hair is speaking a language. It's speaking to you. You just have to learn how to talk to the hair and understand what the hair needs. And if you are not sure and if you need help, I do virtual consultations. Unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to if you're not here in North Carolina, or if you're unable to travel. I wouldn't be able to trim your hair, but I can push you into the right direction and show you how to research hairstylists in your city. My #1 recommendation is to make sure that your stylists are on Google. If they are not on Google, that is a sign that they may not be well established. And then through Google, you can read their reviews. I am an advocate for, making sure that people read my reviews, because that goes a very far way, because those are real people who come into the salon and speak on their experience. All right. I hope this was helpful for you all. If you're new here, I'm Jamila Evans. Again, I've been licensed for 10 years doing specifically curl education behind the chair. So my salon services are education based. You just so happen to look amazing when you walk out. If any of this was helpful, please subscribe. I share not only hair videos, but also videos centered around mental health, adulting with ADHD, and pretty much just being a twin mom and a millennial wife. So I talk about real life on here, and I talk about real hair care. All right. I hope that y'all have a great day, and I will see y'all soon. Bye.